coaches, along with several other area basketball coaches. And it will certainly be interesting basketball talk. We've had such a full week of basketball between the Chip Garrigan and Algona, both playing multiple games.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the campus of Algona High School and the Bulldog Gymnasium for this evening's North Central Conference matchup between our visitors on the scoreboard, the Webster City Lynx, and your Algona Bulldogs. The Lynx enter tonight's game with an overall record of 1-11 and an 0-7 conference record, while Algona enters tonight's game with an overall record of 3-12 and a conference record of 3-6. Ladies and gentlemen, supporting sportsmanship is a priority with both schools competing tonight. In association with the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, we ask that you please cheer on your team, treat people with respect, and accept the results of this contest as an honest competition between young adults. Your cooperation is appreciated. Our officials for tonight's game are Dennis Bloom, Mark Peterson, and Steve Schultz. And now, let's meet the starting lineups. First, for the Lynx, a junior, number 10, Kelly Stokes. A sophomore, number 14, Allie Odland. A senior, number 20, Leah Koch. A sophomore, number 34, Livia Koch. And a senior, number 40, Jenna Miller. The Lynx are coached by head coach Nicole Mullenbrook and assisted by Brad Van Deer. And now, let's meet your starters for the Algona Bulldogs. A 5'6" sophomore, number 4, Tora Solbach. A 5'9" senior, number 20, Alexa Chase. A 5'8" sophomore, number 22, Lillian Etherington. A 5'9" junior, number 32, Izzy Henry. And a 5'7" junior, number 44, Maddie Hilbert. The Bulldogs are coached by head coach Noel McLaughlin and assisted by Dave Beisch and Ashley Nichols. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise as you are able?
It's time for basketball action right here on Hometown Radio as we have Webster City and we have Algona At center court right now, Alexa Chase for Algona going up against Allie Odland, and it'll be Chase winning the tip to Solbach, and we are underway. Algona going from right to left on your radio dial. They do not have a Layla Perry in the starting lineup tonight, but she is dressed for the game, so we would anticipate seeing her in this game. Webster City back at a 1-3-1 zone defense. Different type of look than Algona saw from last night's Hampton-Dumont Cal 2-3 defense. We'll see how they try to attack it here. Into the far corner, now cutting across the foul line, a flip to the near side, Solbach into the corner. Izzy Henry fires it up top to Hilbert, now down to the foul line, Chase, far side of the court, Etherington, now back out to Hilbert. 7:21 on the clock here in quarter number 1 as Algona looks for win number 4 on the season and win number 2 in a row. To the right wing, free ball on the way, swish! Maddie Hilbert picks right up where she left off last night, and Algona has a 3-0 lead. Algona last night was hovering around the 50% range for threes, which is absurd at this level, and really any level of basketball. Hilbert herself hit 4 of them in that huge performance by Algona. Driving on the baseline, a bounce pass towards Jenna Miller. It goes out of bounds, knocked out by Algona. It'll be Webster City basketball, 6:48 on the clock. Kelly Stokes, the junior, to trigger it from the baseline, just to the near side underneath the basket. High pass in up beyond the three-point line. Leah Kosh drives, gives it up, dribbling into the lane. Now a pass out to Kosh, and a jumper is up, and it is good. That is the sophomore Livia Kosh hitting the jumper. 2 Koshes in the starting lineup of Livia and Leah for the Lynx, and it is a 3-2 ball game. Algona in the lead. Solbach going back and forth with Hilbert up top, now to the foul line to Chase. Racing in there is Stokes, who tried to peel it away, but Chase passed it out to Hilbert on the far side. Now Solbach on the near side, dribbles up to the left wing, bounce to the foul line to Chase. Chase out to Hilbert. She'll go back and forth with Solbach as Algona prods away at that zone defense. Right wing Hilbert, she'll try another 3. That one well short. Solbach rebounds though. Great hustle there, getting in there, but then she trips. The trap came and tried to trap her in the corner, and that's a turnover by Solbach. Up the court, Webster City. To the left wing, Stokes. Stokes comes near side to Miller. She'll fire a right wing 3, and she connects. Miller answers right back with a 3-pointer, and she is one to watch for beyond the 3-point line. Number 2 in the Webster City starting lineup in terms of 3-point percentage. She's just over 30% on the season and averaging about 8.5 points per game. 5-3, Lynx lead the Bulldogs. Ball goes near side to Solbach. Now back and forth to Hilbert. To Solbach again. She starts left of the lane, sends it near corner to Henry. Henry with that huge 18-point night last night. Now Chase to Hilbert. Down onto the block to Etherington. Back to Chase at the foul line. Now Etherington again, probing on the baseline, fighting up a shot. No good, didn't even touch the rim that time. And Miller rebounds. Crossing midcourt, Stokes for the Lynx. Goes to the left wing. Now a bounce pass up to the top of the key. Near side to Kosh. Kosh tried to feed it down onto the block to Kosh, and it was knocked out of bounds by Algona. And Layla Perry checks back in for Algona. She will replace Izzy Henry, and this is a good moment for Perry. She missed the past couple games with a concussion, and now she's ready to go and return for the Bulldogs. Great to have her back on the floor if you're Algona. Near side, Leah Kosh on the right wing. Goes down low to Odland on the baseline, bounces it out of there, but bounces it right into the hands of Solbach, who is waiting on the block. She'll go up the court with some pace. Solbach a bounce to Perry on the block. Perry fights it up, no good off the front of the rim. Rebound for the Lynx. And that's one way you can attack the zone defense, is by getting out in transition and not letting them get into a zone defense and settle in the first place. Watch for Algona to try for a lot of transition when the opportunity presents themselves here tonight and not have to face off the 1-3-1 zone that the Lynx were presenting early in the game. Stokes near side out of the 3-point line, top of the key Kosh. Now it's Odland across the foul line, gives the basketball up to Miller. Bounce pass back out, now top of the key, Kosh. Kosh gives it up to Stokes, down the center of the lane, floater just inside of the foul line, no good, rebound Hilbert. 5-3, Lynx lead the Bulldogs, 3:50 on the clock. Dangerous pass from Solbach, almost got stolen away by Miller. And now she tried to pass it to Perry in the corner, but ball was knocked out of bounds. And Hilbert will inbound for Algona from the far side of the court, right in front of the stands. Into the corner, Efferington now on the block. Perry powers one up, just a little bit long, gets her own miss, fights it back up, and she got hacked that time. Alayla Perry heads to the free throw line, and she was giving Jenna Miller all she could handle there down in the post. Leah Kosh gets counted for the foul. That'll be her first of the ball game. Perry missing on the first free throw. Perry had a definitive size advantage there. We'll see if she gets more opportunities to attack in the same manner throughout this game. Second foul shot on the way, and she'll knock that one home. 5-4, Lynx still lead the Bulldogs here. Algona not quite the fast start they got off to last night, certainly, as whoever starts this first quarter faster is definitely a key to this ball game, as the pass for Odlin is tipped out of bounds. Reese Casey checks into the game for the Lynx. She will replace Livia Kosh. Casey, a sophomore. Into the near corner to Kosh. Now right side Miller. Bounce pass again. Gives the basketball up to Stokes. Dribbles across the foul line. Left wing Odlin. Across the lane. Kicks it out for a free ball for Miller. Front iron, no good. Perry fights for the rebound. It's followed up, though, by Casey. No good on that one. And a third opportunity for the Lynx. Mid-range jumper, no good, as Kosh couldn't hit it. And now Algona out and running. Efferington weaves right by the defender, goes straight to the basket and lays it in. Boy, Efferington made the defender look like she was standing in cement that time. As she barely moved, Efferington just whisked right by her to the basket and had a nice look for the layup. Algona has the 6-5 lead. Casey swinging the basketball wildly, gives it up to Stokes just outside the Bulldog logo, drives right into the lane, tried to pass it into the corner. Solbach got her hands on it, and she is able to force a jump ball. The ball kind of knocked back and forth between Solbach and Kosh, and they both went to the floor fighting for it. Possession arrow in favor of the Lynx. They will keep the basketball here. 2:34 on the clock. Stokes from the near side lobs it into Odland. She's picked up by Hilbert as she dribbles back towards the center around the perimeter. Goes to Casey on the wing, guarded by Perry. Now top of the key, Stokes. Near side pass almost intercepted, but stepping in for a mid-range jumper and burying it is Leah Kosh. Perry went for the interception on that pass that time, and when Kosh got past her, she had a great wide open look on the jumper. 2:10 on the clock, 7-6 lead for the Lynx. Chase the foul line, goes down low on the block to Efferington, has it poked away, but that's because she got fouled. They'll get Odland on that one, and Efferington will go to the free throw line. Efferington, a tremendous free throw shooter, one of, if not the best, on this squad, as she's able to make the first one and tie the game at 7. Kaylee Carroll comes into the game for Algona. Chase takes a seat. Izzy Henry back in as well, with Hilbert sitting down. And Efferington converts on both free throws. She has 4 early points, and Algona has an 8-7 lead. Stokes into the front court. Ball goes around the perimeter, and now it's intercepted. Coming the other way up the court of the Bulldogs. Layup is up, and it rattles home for Efferington. 6 early points for Efferington, a 10-7 Algona lead. Some of their best success so far tonight has come in transition, and now an over and back violation. That was interesting as Kosh tried to throw a pass up the court. Odlin was in the backcourt, tried to jump over half court to receive the pass, and an over and back violation was called, giving the turnover back to Algona. Solbach passes to the far side, now gets the basketball back up top to Efferington. Efferington looking for the screen, tried to throw a pass through traffic. It gets tipped, goes right to Perry, and she's able to go straight to the basket and lay it in. That pass was not intended for Alayla Perry, but it got tipped in that direction. Now Perry tips a pass on the other end. Lynx keep it, though. It's Shelby Queen who got the basketball there, and now a loose ball on the floor. It's another jump ball, and this time the ball goes back to Algona. Queen, the junior, one of the other key bench players for the Lynx, who had just checked in. 12-7 Algona lead. Trying to extend and go on a little run here to end the first quarter. Solbach heads to her right now, goes back to her left, drives down to the left of the lane, kicks it into the corner. Henry tries a 3 off target. And the ball will trickle out of bounds along the far side of the court and go back to the Lynx. Well, you can't make every three-pointer, I guess, but with the way Henry performed last night, sometimes you feel like she could make every three-pointer. She hit 6 of them in the win over Hampton Dumont Cal by Algona. Ball comes to Casey, up top, shadowed by Perry. Comes to the wing to Odland. Now into the corner, Stokes. Stokes around the perimeter, now across the foul line, kicks it out. Another quick pass around the perimeter, goes to Casey in the corner. Now she throws an interception. Henry up the court in transition. Dribbled off her foot though, she tried to cut across the lane. It's loose on the floor, and we have yet another jump ball as Efferington got in there along with Miller. And ball will go back to the Lynx here. 31 seconds on the clock, 12-7 Algona lead. Stokes with the basketball in the backcourt. Algona trying to trap her. She gets it up the court though to Miller. Miller tried to throw it in the lane, went right into Perry's hands. Perry running in transition. Perry loses the basketball, scoops it back into play though before it goes out of bounds, and she avoids a turnover there. Got it right to Henry. Now to Efferington around the screen from Perry. Corner to Henry. Didn't have space to shoot a 3. Up top, Solbach drives left in the lane. Soft layup off the glass and in.
Solbach for 2.
The sophomore Solbach gets the 2 there as a long shot at the buzzer is no good for Webster City, and that wraps up quarter number 1. Algona goes on a late run and takes a 14-7 lead. Quarter number 2 next. Perry misses a turnaround jumper to start the second quarter for Algona, and then she gets a layup on the next possession. Algona up 16-7 as Alayla Perry has 4 points. That 2 from Perry came off another turnover by Webster City, and those are really starting to pile up here early in this ball game. Lynx making a lot of mistakes, and Algona is out to the fast start they needed. A 14-7 edge in that first quarter, now up 16-7 as a little turnaround there, no good. Missing on that one was Kosh. And now a foul is going to be called.
30 white. Personal foul called on.
They will get Kaylee Carroll on that one for Algona.
First team.
Mask substitutions coming in. Fallon Casey into the game for the first time for Webster City. And Algona making 3 substitutions there. Ava Henry into the game. She's in for the first time. Dribbling on the baseline, passing down into the lane. Shot is up, no good from Stokes, but she got hacked on the play. And she'll head to the free throw line. But Hilbert back in as well for Algona. Alexis Chase on the floor too. And Algona is really going with what is one of their bigger lineups that they could go with at this point. Foul shot on the way, bounces off, no good from Stokes. Stokes this season has been just over 52% from the charity stripe. Algona really on a nice little run here after Webster City took the early lead in the first quarter. Stokes' second foul shot rattles home. She's on the board for the first time tonight. And we'll see how Algona attacks here. Across the timeline, 6:56 on the clock. Efferington bounces to Perry, drives on the baseline, tried to fire a pass over to Hilbert, but Perry was too deep on the baseline and she stepped out of bounds. Algona still doubling up the Lynx, 16-8. Second quarter here. Into the front court come the Lynx. Kosh on the left wing, sends it up top to Kosh. Two Koshes on the floor right now for Webster City. Fallon Casey up top, sends it to the far side. Stokes, she'll drive down the lane, try to scoop layup, and she traveled. There was a lot of traffic in the lane that time on the drive, and she ended up traveling. Another early turnover by Webster City, and you can really see what kind of bogs their offense down is turnover after turnover. Webster City, not a high-scoring team, just 36.5 points per game this season, and any possession that doesn't end in a shot is obviously a bad one, and that's really stolen possessions if you're Algona, forcing all these turnovers. Solbach fought about three, passed it into the corner to Hilbert instead, gets it back on the wing, now heads across the foul line to Henry. Henry drives, Henry floats up a wild shot, no good. Perry gets it right in her hands though, and puts it off the glass and in. There's the offensive rebounding that they were missing without Perry. She is great in that department, and Algona has a double-digit lead, 18-8. Webster City desperately needing an answer to stop the early bleeding. Dribbling into the corner. Kosh can't get the shot to fall. Solbach comes away with the basketball. Solbach racing the other way with some pace. Around the screen from Perry, turns around, gets another screen from Perry, comes back to the near side, gets it to Henry. At the foul line, chasing out to Solbach. Right wing three on the way. Well short as she airballed that one. And off to the right as it goes out of bounds. Algona brings Etherington back in the game. Hilbert checks out. The three ball not working quite as well as it did last night. Algona only 1 for 4, but obviously still very early on in this game. And certainly you'll take an 18-8 lead, even if the threes aren't raining down from above as they did last night. Leah Kosh gives the ball up to Odland. She looks inside, holds the basketball with her right hand. Some defensive pressure from Chase. Takes a couple dribbles, gives it up to Stokes. Stokes dribbles back towards the center with her right hand. Heads around the perimeter, picks up her dribble on the right wing. Tries to send it down into the block, and Chase comes from behind and swats it out of bounds. Livia Kosh was trying to post up against Solbach, and they'll say that went out of bounds, and a timeout will be called. So we'll go ahead and take a timeout as well. Algona 18, Webster City 8, here on Hometown Radio. Algona leading Webster City by 10. Shot blocked by Chase. Getting it back though, Webster City. A follow-up shot, no good. Another follow-up. That one is up and it is in. Webster City has some second chance opportunities as Livia Kosh scores it. And it is an 18-10 ball game here from Algona High School. Webster City still playing that zoning defense, and now Chase getting the ball at the foul line, but she traveled. She was in quite the hurry to get the ball out of her hands quickly and continue to work the ball as fast as she could against the zone defense, but that time it'll be an Algona turnover. 4:40 on the clock to go until halftime. Webster City basketball here. Odland gives it up to Kosh. Livia Kosh into the lane, kicks it into the corner to Casey. Casey looking. Casey dribbles inside of the three-point line, gives the basketball up. Now a nice pass to the cutter, a pass to the corner now, out to the right wing. Casey, top of the key, free ball on the way from Kosh. No good. Ball is rebounded by the Lynx, though. Coming in Stokes. Stokes fights up a shot, misses off the rim, gets her own rebound, and she got fouled on the play. Lots and lots of extra opportunities that time for the Lynx on that possession. And Algona will immediately get a couple substitutions ready to come into the game, including Alayla Perry, as they saw the rebounding was not adequate there. Stokes foul shot on the way. That one misses. She's 1 for 3 at the charity stripe so far tonight. Perry replaces Chase, and Izzy Henry replaces Ava Henry for Algona. Stokes misses on the, no, it bounces in. I spoke too soon as that one looked like it was going to bounce high off the rim and off to the side, but it bounced in, and that makes it an 18-11 ball game. 4 minutes to go here in quarter number 2. Near side of Solbach, now back to Efrington, just right of center. To the short corner to Perry, down onto the block, Henry. Henry looking for Perry, who followed it up, cuts the basket, couldn't get the shot to go, got her own miss, puts it up and puts it in with the right hand. Perry has just such long arms that she's able to reach up there for and get the offensive rebounds as she did that time. And she's already gotten a few second chance points here tonight. Algona has a 20-11 lead. Perry with 8 points in her return to the lineup after missing a couple games with injury. Miller fires up a 3-ball, misses. Offensive rebound again, though, Webster City, but they'll throw it away and turn it over. Well, I think that possession pretty much sums up Webster City here tonight. Their strength is that they're getting a lot of offensive rebounds, but the weakness is they have been plagued by turnovers in this game, and Algona continues to lead it by 9. Fighting against that zone defense to the right wing. Efrington fought about 3. She'll drive it instead. She'll push it off the backboard. No good. Long rebound, though. Tapped by Henry out to Solbach. Attacks left of the lane. Scoop layup. Way too hard off the glass. Rebound pops out to Efrington, though. Right side, Solbach. Fakes the 3. Kicks it out, Efrington. 2:59 to go. Efrington backs it out. The defense and offense both resets to the foul line. Now a bounce pass to Perry. She spins away from one defender. Puts it off the glass. No good. Rebound Miller. And the Lynx survive multiple second chance opportunities by Algona on that possession. Leah Kosh hands it off to Stokes. Stops for a foul line jumper. Line drives it off the front of the rim. No good. Gets her own miss. 2:34 to go in a half. 20-11 Algona. Odland gets the ball up top. Crosses over. Gets past Henry. And a foul is committed by Algona. It was on the floor. They'll get Izzy Henry for the foul, her first foul. And Webster City will inbound from the baseline. Kaylee Carroll sits down for Algona. Pass is inbounded. A quick shot on the way is good. A nice play there from Olivia Kosh, making it from just outside of the painted area. And it is a 20-13 ball game now. Maddie Hilbert, who just came in to replace Carroll, back and forth between her and Solbach up top. Looking at the zone defense, seeing how quickly they adjust to Efrington at the foul line, kicks it to Hilbert, passes up the 3, now top to Solbach. Back to Hilbert right of center, foul line Efrington, she drives, bounces to Perry on the baseline, sends it back out to Hilbert. Hilbert with the big game last night with 4 3-pointers into the lane. Efrington, the defense collapses on her. She finds Perry on the block. Perry traveled, I believe. No, a 3-second violation instead. But in either case, that's a turnover for Algona. Algona did a good job continuing to probe against that zone defense and make a lot of passes looking for that good shot and not settling. But in the end, the possession ultimately results in a turnover. 1:43 to go here in the half. 3-ball from the far side of the court. Kosh misses on it. Offensive rebound again, Webster City. Almost thrown away as Perry got her fingers on that pass. Now a jumper just inside the 3-point line is knocked down by Jenna Miller. That is a long 2 there. And just like that, it's a 5-point game as the last 4 points have been scored by Webster City. Corner 3 missed by Henry. And Algona now 1 of 5 from downtown here tonight. Stokes into the front court from the near side. Now a jumper from the short corner is missed by Webster City. Miller couldn't connect. 1:07 to go. Algona rebounds. Solbach into the front court to Hilbert on the far side. Back to Solbach on the near side. Fighting against that unique 1-3-1 zone look that they're seeing from Webster City. Now to the near side, Henry. To the foul line, Efrington. Efrington attacks down the lane. She gets tripped. And I believe they'll call a blocking foul against the Lynx on that one with 48 seconds to go in the half. And it was not in the act of shooting, though, so Algona will inbound from the baseline. Fallon Casey checks into the game. She will replace Olivia Kosh, who checks out with 6 points and is the leading scorer right now for Webster City. Hilbert looking, Hilbert running out of time, lobs it into Perry at the elbow, underhand scoop to Solbach outside the 3-point line, near side to Efrington, 3-ball on the way, just off target. High rebound is left for and brought down by Odland. 36 seconds to go. We'll see how much time Webster City wants to work here. Leah Kosh takes a couple steps backwards, dribbles on the right wing against Solbach, starts inside the three-point line, picks up her dribble, and sends it up top Odland. 24 seconds now in the half. Odland goes to her left, gives the basketball up. Stokes drives right to the baseline. A little jumper is swished. Fallon Casey. A nice pass there by Stokes on the assist, and it's a 3-point ball game. Last 6 points have been scored by Webster City. It's 20-17 Algona. Corner to Hilbert, 7 seconds to go. She tried to get to the foul line to Perry, got tipped to Solbach, 3 seconds. Perry with 2 seconds, attacks the rack, she scores it at the buzzer. Alayla Perry with a great job there as she shielded off the defender of her body, reached out with one arm, and was able to put it off the glass with her right hand and scored to make it 22-17 at the halftime. And that breaks up a 6-0 scoring run by Webster City there. But Webster City is able to close into that deficit a little bit. They outscore Algona in that quarter 10-8, and Algona will take a 5-point lead into halftime. And overall, the first half,
it was last night, but still, you'll take it if you're Algona in the lead and have a chance to put it away in the second half. And defensively, you really have to like what you're seeing. It hasn't been a great offensive night by Algona by any means, but they have continuously forced turnovers from Webster City. And there have been many, many possessions for the Lynx that have ended without a shot being attempted. However, on the other end of things, the rebounding has not been great from Algona on the defensive end. Now, they have done a decent job on the offensive glass, getting some second chance opportunities.
Please welcome the Algona dance team, who will be performing a jazz routine choreographed by seniors Jasmine Harrison and Deanna Van Bookham.
But the opportunities have been there. We'll go ahead and take another timeout, and we will be back with more coverage coming up next, right here on Hometown Radio.
5, 6, 7, 8, 1.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. Start spreading the news. I was a boy, most of my work has been live here in New York. I don't care how long you've been in this business, it's nothing like seeing the live people, baby. Now we have a brand new song for you.
Part of that is because of how prolific Algona really was.
Give it up for the dance squad.
Certainly a fun lot last for the Bulldogs tonight. They have certainly been given a reality check in terms of distance shooting. They are 1 of 6 on three-pointers so far here tonight. But the good news for Algona, Webster City, not a whole lot better. In fact, not better at all, as they are also 1 for 6 from long range here tonight, although that included one half-court heave at the end of the first quarter. But Algona does have a few things to be happy about.
the effort has been there, just like it has been in the past game, like they did last night. The 26-point outing, the defense held Hampton Dumont Cal to. It's just the offense hasn't quite been as sharp as they've been the last 3 games. And again, the past 3 games for Algona have been the 3 best offensive games of the season for them in terms of scoring. So you can't expect that trend to continue game after game after game after game. But certainly for Algona, they have not looked great against the zone defense that Webster City is presenting them so far. They've had a few good takes by Alayla Perry. She leads the way in the first half of Algona. She had 10 points. Lillian Etherington with 6 points. She is the second leading scorer by Algona. Maddie Hilbert and Tora Solbach with 3 and 2 respectively. On the other end of things, Livia Kosh, 6 points. That is the leading scorer for Webster City. Jenna Miller with 5. She is the second leading scorer for the Lynx here tonight. And it all adds up to a 22-17 ball game at halftime. And I'll tell you what, Algona is very happy to have Perry back tonight, as she has really been kind of the main source of the offensive production. She's gotten a couple second chance buckets after getting her own rebounds off of her own misses. She really does a great job of staying alert and staying in the play. She doesn't just admire her own shot, even as close to the basket as it is, after she takes it. She is actively looking to rebound, whether she thought she shot a good look at it or not. And it has shown with the offensive rebounding numbers she's been able to put up this season, and certainly that has accounted for a few of her points. She's done a nice job tonight being active and cutting to the basket when she doesn't have the basketball, and Algona is really happy to have her presence again. Great active hands on defense as well, knocking passes away and not allowing a whole lot of penetration into the lane by Webster City. They have settled for a lot of mid-range jumpers here tonight, as they are not going in against Perry, so that has been a good sign for Algona. Also, Lillian Etherington with a very good first half as well. A couple nice plays in transition for her. And Algona leading at 22-17 at halftime as they try to get win number 2 in a row for the first time this season, something we haven't been able to say since last year, as Algona continues to try to turn it around and improve going forward. And certainly today is a great opportunity to do that, especially with 11-3 Clarion Goldfield Dows awaiting them when the calendar turns to February. So it certainly gets tougher rather than easier going forward. Algona leads 22-17. We'll go ahead and take one more timeout, and we'll be back with second half action coming your way next, right here on Hometown Radio. Algona 22, Webster City 17 at the half. We are about a minute and a half away from beginning half number 2 of this ball game, as Algona looks for win number 2 and tries to send Webster City to loss number 7 in a row. Right now, leading scorer for Algona, Alayla Perry with 10 points, and Algona is trying to continue their domination in this series. They are 27-3 against Webster City if you go back to 2000 and 7. And Algona, of course, as we mentioned earlier, has already beaten Webster City this season. That is one of their 3 wins, the other 2 being a 48-32 win over St. Edmund, who Algona will see again on February 9th. And of course, last night's 53-26 win over Hampton Dumont Cal. That has the team very hopeful about what their prospects are going forward and how much they are improving. But right now, they're focused on one more good half of basketball. They are up by 5 after taking a little bit of a run from Webster City to close the gap going into the end of the first half. But Algona still able to control it and still in a good position here going forward for half number 2. Leading scorer besides Layla Perry's 10, Lillian Effrington has 6 for Algona, and Livia Kosh has 6 for Webster City as we get ready to begin half number 2. The 2 team starters will go back out onto the court to start the second half, and we are just about ready. One more action-packed half of basketball action, as Algona will make one change to their lineup from the starters, as Layla Perry will start with the 4 other players who started. Perry did not start this game. She came off the bench tonight, but she's played significant minutes in the first half and has looked to be back to normal, which is a great sign for Algona. And Webster City begins the basketball. And immediately a kickball violation on the entry pass called against Algona. Webster City heads from right to left on your radio dial. 7:50 on the clock here in quarter number 3, and Stokes to trigger from the baseline. Lobs it in up beyond the 3-point line to Odland. A couple passes around the perimeter. Now dribbling is Stokes towards the near side. It gives the basketball up, and a pass from Odland is almost intercepted by Solbach, but it's knocked out of bounds. They tried a long cross-court pass that time, and that has seemed to be recipe for disaster against Algona's defense, which has been very active with their hands in the passing lanes. Stokes comes around the perimeter. Now she attacks left of the lane, kicks it out to the wing to Miller. Miller now down the center of the lane, stops for a jumper, gets it blocked. Alexa Chase erased that shot, and Algona comes away with the basketball. Effrington near side, Solbach back to Hilbert up top. Now Solbach again to the foul line. Chase tried to throw it down on the block to Effrington. Pass got tipped away and taken by Webster City. 22-17 Algona. Attacking is Kosh. Livia Kosh gets cut off, kicks it out. Now the pass goes to the foul line. Stokes drives in, kicks it out for a 3. Front iron, no good. Webster City now 1 of 7 from downtown tonight as Livia Kosh couldn't hit that one. Solbach to run the offense. Quick ball movement for Algona to the foul line to Chase. Lobs it down to Perry on the block. Tried to fight it up, but she had it blocked. Perry was right in between 2 defenders right there as Miller and Odland, I believe it was Miller, who got her hands on the basketball and knocked it out of bounds. So Algona keeps possession. Hilbert from the baseline looking. High pass to the foul line to Perry. She'll take a jumper and she'll knock it down. Oh, that's just like shooting a free throw right there. She had time to get set, put it up. The only thing that was different was the fact that it was a jumper in the middle of game action. But Perry able to give Algona a 7-point lead, as that was a perfect mid-range jumper. Give her 12 on the night. Webster City basketball now. Livia Kosh starts to the right elbow, picks up her dribble, passes it towards the corner, now cutting right to the basket, putting it high off the glass, and putting it in is Odland. That takes a couple of bounces, and Odland has her first couple points of the night, making it 24-19. Algona still up by 5. Solbach for the ball on the near side, looks to chase the foul line, now goes back to Hilbert. Algona goes back and forth here. Bounce pass to Chase to the foul line, turns around, now to the wing to Hilbert, has a good look from 3, back iron, no good. Rebound Webster City, and a jump ball. Algona did a nice job getting their hands in there, and now they'll get to keep possession on the jump ball, so Hilbert again will inbound it from the baseline. Algona's players all stacked up as the inbounds play goes. The pass goes into Effrington, went behind her briefly for a second as it trickled off her hands, but she got it back. Now to Solbach. Far side, Hilbert back to the near side to Solbach. To Chase at the right elbow. Chase turns around to Solbach on the wing, passes up the 3, tried to fire it back to Chase, got the ball batted back in her face. Now to Chase though. Chase far side, Effrington on the baseline. And did she get pushed there? And she did. They'll call a foul against Webster City. Leah Kosh called. And Algona will inbound from the baseline again from the far side underneath the basket.
First team foul.
First team foul of the quarter by either side. Solbach collects the inbounds pass in the corner to Effrington. Now down to Perry on the block again. Puts it off the glass and scores it. 14 for Alayla Perry now. And they are really looking to her down low, as she has the size advantage over just about anyone on Webster City. 7-point Algona lead. Now down to Stokes, who cuts the basket and got fouled. Nice pass that time from Kosh, and a nice cut to the basket from Stokes, as they will get Solbach on the foul. And Stokes, 52.6% free throw shooter, heads to the line for a couple of foul shots. Pushes the first shot up and puts it in. Stokes with 3 points tonight, all of them from the charity stripe. Algona up 26-20, 5:12 on the clock here in quarter number 3. Second shot on the way, back iron no good. Hilbert reaches high for the rebound, and a jump ball. Great job there for the Lynx getting their hand in it, and now they'll steal a possession here and keep it. Stokes underneath her own basket, gets it into the far corner to Kosh. Kosh finding the cutting Miller, and Miller got pushed from behind. Looks like they'll get Alexa Chase on that foul.
Alexa Chase.
Second foul by Algona here
Foul,
in this very short sequence.
Second team foul.
Stokes gets the ball into Olivia Kosh, and she immediately has it stolen away by Effrington. Algona will start to inject a little pace. Effrington racing up the court, passing it to the near side to Hilbert, now back up top to Solbach. The defense gets set. Chase at the foul line to the far side. Effrington, right wing Hilbert, now tried to find Perry down low on the block, but put it a little bit out of her reach. That one was high and outside, and goes out of bounds for a turnover back to the Lynx. Algona with a little bit of full court pressure there, but now Stokes races into the front court along the far side against Solbach. Gives it up to Leah Kosh, hands it off to Olivia Kosh. Kosh to Odland. Odland reverses directions at the foul line. Now hands it off to Miller. Steps inside the foul line for a jumper. Planks off the backboard, no good. Offensive rebound on the follow-up from Odland is good, though. Put it right off the glass. 26-22 now, as Algona's lead is down to 4. 4:23 on the clock as we approach the halfway mark of this third quarter. To Solbach on the near side now. Chase on the foul line. Effrington in the far corner. Fought about 3. She'll drive instead. Kicks it out Hilbert. And Hilbert dribbles back towards midcourt. Tried to throw it to Solbach, but that pass is tipped by Stokes. She runs up the court. Lays it off the glass way too hard, though. The refs let them play. Chase rebounds. Chase has it poked at. It'll go out of bounds, and it'll go back to Algona. Chase almost wasn't paying attention there as Jenna Miller reached her hand in and knocked it straight down, but it landed on the baseline, or the sideline, I should say, in front of the Webster City bench as she did that. So Algona avoids the turnover, and now Solbach will jog it into the front court. On that last possession, Effrington did a nice fake on the 3 without even pump faking. Her eyes were just so convincing as she looked at the basket that might be something she goes back to later on in the game, as now Algona with an errant pass turns it over. And a timeout will be called by Algona. Coach McLaughlin does not like the way those last few possessions looked, so it'll be a full timeout, and we'll take one as well and be back with more coming up next here on Hometown Radio. We get ready to resume play here coming out of Algona's timeout. They apply some heavy full court pressure here against the Lynx. A bounce pass almost knocked away by Solbach, and it is. It rolls to the near side. It goes out of bounds, and it will stay with Webster City. But that was a great play by Solbach And now once again, Algona will get the chance to full court press as Stokes looks. Stokes running out of time. Stokes will have to have a timeout called by Webster City. That would have been a 5-second violation. It's a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. Boy, Algona just went to that full court press coming out of the timeout, and that has immediately yielded them great results. Maybe they'll stick with that throughout the game, as Webster City will have to drop a new play here to try to get the pass inbounded. But again, Solbach, we talk about it all the time, but she really just is filled with energy. And not that other players aren't, certainly, but Solbach is really that spark plug on the court, brings a lot of energy on defense, is able to poke the ball away. She did on that last possession and did a great job that time of guarding the inbounder and helping force a 5-second violation. Now this time, they're not guarding the inbounder as they try to double team, but they were able to get it in to Reese Casey. Now up the far side of the court, Odland, 3:32 on the clock. Into the corner, Leah Kosh drives on the baseline, pushes up a shot, no good. A fight for the rebound, and a jump ball is going to be called as Miller and Carroll both had their fingerprints all over that one. Possession back towards Algona with a 4-point lead, 3:25 and ticking on the clock. Layla Perry still the only scorer in this game in double digits with 14. What has been a pretty low-scoring game so far. Basketball knocked out of bounds here. Algona gets to keep it. They will inbound it from just to the right of their own bench area. And they'll get it into Solbach. Solbach heads back towards the middle of the court, now heads towards the far side to Perry on the elbow. Perry near side, Etherington. Etherington gives the ball up to Solbach. Solbach up top, down to 3 minutes to go in the quarter. Heads to the far side of the court to Henry. Henry finds Perry down on the block, and Perry got pushed as she was receiving the pass. Again, Lynx are trying to be really physical with Layla Perry down low, but they are just not able to hold her off so far in this one.
Personal foul called on Reese Casey.
Reese Casey gets called for the foul. Etherington inbounds it to the wing to Henry. Henry looking, waits for Solbach to come get the ball, and Solbach backs up towards midcourt, dribbling at the Bulldog logo, heads to her left, into the corner to Henry, now to the foul line to Carroll, right wing, Etherington now onto the blocking into Perry. She attacks two defenders, fights up the shot, offensive rebound though, Algona passing it out is Carroll. No one was there to receive it though. Solbach races over along the sidelines to try to save it, and a jump ball is called as Solbach and Stokes got tangled up along the far side of the court fighting for it. Possession arrow in favor of Webster City on that one. 2:28 to go in the quarter. With the basketball, the Lynx, it's Stokes at the foul line. Stokes takes a step back to the top of the key. 2:17 to go in the quarter, sends it to the far side, Odland. Odland awaits the screen from Miller, doesn't use it though, passes it into the corner to Casey. Casey around the perimeter to Stokes, top of the key, drives left of the lane, fights up a layup, has that one partially blocked by Carroll, got it back though, 2:02 on the clock, passes it into the lane, and Leah Kosh gets fouled as she tried to fight up a layup, cutting through the lane, and the senior Kosh will head to the charity stripe.
Her second.
Leah Kosh this season, 48.5% free throw shooter, and Webster City can start to make this game uncomfortably close for Algona as she swishes the first foul shot. Algona had really started to extend that lead at one point in the second quarter, but Webster City went on a 6-0 run right before halftime. Algona took a 5-point lead in halftime, and now their lead is down to 2 points here, 26-24, with exactly 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Solbach slowly dribbles the ball into the front court, lobs it to Etherington, to the foul line to Carroll. Carroll looking around for someone to give the ball up to and finds Etherington. Now back to almost half court to Solbach. Foul line Carroll again, far side of the court to Henry. Two defenders are pretty much shadowing Perry at all times in the lane. Bounce pass to the short corner to Perry. She pump fakes, drives on the baseline, finds space. Oh, a beautiful reverse layup and the score. She went right underneath the basket, tossed the ball almost right above her head, and put it in, barely even looking at the rim that time. 2 more points for Layla Perry. She is up to 17 for the night. And on the other end, the shot is up and it is good.
Casey for 2.
That is Fallon Casey. or check that is Reese Casey making the shot. 28-26, the Algona lead. Effrington fought about 3. She'll drive instead to the basket. Has her pocket picked. Reese Casey takes it away. 55 seconds to go in the quarter. Algona clinging desperately to a 2-point lead. Around the perimeter come the Lynx. To the far side of the court, Stokes. Stokes comes back towards the center. 44 seconds to go. Guarded by Henry. A little handoff to Casey. Casey stops at the right elbow, and Slobach just rips it right out of her hands. But then she has it poked away by Stokes. Loose on the floor, and a jump ball will be called as Effrington was able to get in there of Stokes. I'll tell you what, this matchup between Stokes and Solbach is incredibly entertaining, as Solbach will go ahead and take a seat on the bench, as they are two very similar players in terms of energy. They go for the floor burns, they dive on the loose ball, they're active on defense trying to knock the basketball away, and there's a lot of movement from them on offense. Ava Henry hoists up a 3-ball, back iron no good. 0 for 2 in the half is Algona on threes. They have really not had many opportunities to even take them. 16 seconds to go in the quarter. Algona will likely try to get the last shot or very close to it here. Effrington up top, gets the screen from Perry, heads to her right, and a blocking foul will be called defensively against Miller as she tried to stick with Effrington after the screen. 5 seconds to go in the quarter. Fallon Casey into the ballgame, as well as Leah Kosh for Webster City. Jenna Miller sits down. Kelly Stokes heads to the bench as well. Algona looking for the last shot of this quarter, trying to get a good look into Effrington. 5 seconds, and Effrington throws it away. Racing up the court is Casey with 1 second, and she passed it to her teammate as the buzzer sounded. Casey lost track of time there, and the third quarter expires. One more quarter of basketball action. 2-point ball game as Algona looks for win number 2 in a row. That'll be coming your way next, right here on Hometown Radio. We have a nail-biter on our hands from here in Algona. The Bulldogs have a 28-26 lead over the Webster City Lynx. 8 minutes of basketball left to go. Webster City starting the fourth quarter with the ball, almost losing it there, but a bounce pass down low to Casey. Puts up a jumper, bounces off the rim, and bounces in. Fallon Casey ties the game at 28. And Algona in a position that they haven't been in since the first quarter, and that is not leading this ball game. Webster City outscored Algona 9-6 in quarter number 3. Algona just can't get any rhythm going on offense tonight. Effrington dribbles towards the near side, underhand scoop Hilbert. Back and forth between Effrington and Hilbert. In the near corner is Hilbert, trying to escape from some pressure from the defense to the foul line to Chase. Now out to Solbach, back to Effrington up top. And she'll let the offense reset itself and get spaced out again. Near side, Hilbert passes an open look for 3 to give it to Perry on the block. Puts it off the glass and spins it in. 19 points from Alayla Perry. 30-28. Algona leading it. Perry having some kind of night once again. Driving in and getting hip checked that time is Shelby Queen. And she'll head to the line for a couple of foul shots. Queen this season, 3 of 9 for the charity stripe. That is the second foul for Perry. And Queen can tie the game with a couple of makes here. First foul shot on the way, and she swishes it. Good free throw stroke from Shelby Queen. And Odlin sits down. Stokes replaces her for Webster City. Queen will spin the basketball backwards, take a couple dribbles of her right hand, spin it backwards again. She'll put it up. That one bounces off to the side, no good. Perry trying to stay on the baseline, alertly throws it off of the foot of Kosh and out of bounds. And boy, the Lynx did a tremendous job of trapping Perry with 2 players as she got that rebound, as she was marooned on the baseline. But Perry did an even better job of firing it off of Kosh's foot, where it went out of bounds off of Webster City, and Algona does not turn it over there. Solbach to the foul line to Chase. Now to the wing, to the far corner, back to the wing to Etherington. 6:32 to go. Right wing Solbach to the foul line, Chase again. Chase is really the facilitator from the foul line as she sets a screen. The pass goes to Solbach, and it wedges in between the basket and the rim, and it stays right there. They're going to have to find a way to get that one unstuck as they'll toss the basketball into play, and the referee will make a couple attempts to knock it off. That one is really wedged in there well, and finally they're able to hit it a 3rd time and knock it out. Boy, that last basketball might be a little deflated. I think they might want to get the pump out if it can wedge in there like that. Algona leading it 30-29. They'll keep the basketball because anytime it wedges, that's essentially a jump ball. Etherington out to Solbach, now to the foul line, Chase. Chase near corner, Etherington fires on a 3, misses on a 3. Loose ball rebounded by Algona though. Out to the right wing to Etherington again to Solbach, just inside of the corner of the 3-point line. Now a lob to Perry from Chase, and that one goes out of bounds. That was a high pass from Chase, as there would have needed to be 2 Alayla Perrys stacked on top of each other to catch that basketball. And Algona turns it over with 6:01 on the clock. They are really making a concerted effort to get Perry the basketball because pretty much once she's caught it down low, she's finished it. Now Algona has turned it over a couple times as Perry steals a long outlet pass in transition. But once Perry's caught it down low, she has been lethal in finishing. It's just been a matter of getting the ball down to her, as right now the Lynx are double teaming her with that zone, but they get it down to Perry anyways, and she gets fouled. The double team briefly vacated Perry with the way the ball was passing outside of the zone. They got it down to Perry, who was having her back planted against Kelly Stokes, and there was nothing to do but foul her on that play, otherwise she would have been overpowered. First foul shot misses by Perry, and she'll try to split the pair here. Perry, 19 points on the night. Second foul shot on the way, bounces off the rim, no good, and Webster City dodges a bullet. 5:37 to go, Algona still clinging to a 1-point lead. Odland bouncing it into the front court, picks up the dribble, comes to the wing to Kosh. Kosh across the foul line, kicks it into the corner. Now back up top, Stokes. Stokes almost ran into her own player, hands it off to Leah Kosh. Kosh comes back towards the near side to Odland. Odland penetrates right into the lane, floats the shot up, and floats it in. Webster City has taken the lead, 31-30. And Stokes now with 6 points. 5:04 to go. Algona trying to respond. A bounce to Hilbert in the near corner. 2 defenders come over to get her. Chase, now to Perry, down in the paint. Perry off the glass, misses it as that one spins off the rim. A little bit too much spin that time from Perry. Big possession here for Webster City, trying to extend the 1-point lead. 4:46 to go. Kosh across the lane, slips and falls down, and the ball goes into Hilbert's hands. Up the court, Etherington. Etherington, a floater to no one in particular and out of bounds. I think she was expecting either Perry or Chase to be positioned a little bit differently down there on the block, as that one sailed over their head and out of bounds. Algona full court pressing, a nice trap there along the sideline, but pushing her way through the trap is Miller. Wow, she was physically able to fight her way through that one as Algona thought they had her cornered there between 2 defenders and the sideline. 1-point lead for Webster City. Stokes with the basketball outside the 3-point line, dribbles across the foul line, kicks it to a right wing 3 for Kosh. High bounce off the rim, no good. Perry skies for the rebound. And then Perry throws it away. They tried to trap her. The ball trickles off the legs of Etherington and rolls out of bounds. Webster City's done a really good job tonight. When Perry's got a rebound down low near the baseline, they'll immediately run 2 players over to Perry and try to make her pass out of it. And Perry, facing the baseline, has to turn around and throw the pass, as now a 3-pointer is missed by Webster City, well short from Stokes, and that one will roll out of bounds all the way to the far side of the court. 3:49 on the clock. Algona down by 1. And every possession seems to get more and more important here as we come down the stretch in this one. Chase to the far side, Hilbert. Now back to Chase just outside of the lane. Back and forth between her and Hilbert. To Chase again at the foul line, to Perry in the center of the paint, and has it ripped out of her hands by Odland. Again, the good help defense that time from Webster City. 3:23 on the clock. Lynx basketball, Odland across the foul line, now down to the baseline, putting up the shot, and getting fouled on the play is Leah Kosh. She'll head to the charity stripe, and she'll try to give Webster City a 3-point lead. And Algona has struggled in their 3-point shooting tonight. They're 1 of 9. Webster City also an identical 1 of 9 on 3-pointers, as the long-range shooting has been virtually a non-factor for both sides. First foul shot rattles out, no good from Kosh. And the best she can do here is give the Lynx a 2-point lead. A timeout is called. It is a 30-second timeout, so we will keep it right here. Coach McLaughlin wants to talk things over with his team. And again, I'll tell you what, the offensive magic really, it can't go on forever, and this is just one of those off nights offensively for Algona. The good news is they're playing decently well on the defensive end, so they still certainly have a very good chance of winning this game. But the past 3 games, we've seen some more offensive fireworks by this Algona team, and tonight simply just has not been that. But down by 1, coming into the final moments here of the 4th quarter, and Algona, like we said, can get that 2-game winning streak for the first time this season, but they are going to have to earn it. 3:17 left on the clock. Webster City at the foul line for one more free throw, and Algona trying to figure a way to get something going on offense. If you look at the course of the second half, which at this point, with 3:17 left in the 3rd quarter, encompasses almost 13 minutes, Algona's only scored 8 points. So not much has been going here since that really good first quarter, as the foul shot is up and good from Kosh. Give her 4 points and give Webster City a 2-point lead. Check that, give her 5 points. But yeah, Algona had the 14-7 lead at the end of the first quarter, and since then they have only scored 16 points in this ball game, as Webster City has turned it up defensively. Chase at the foul line, looking inside for Perry. The defense shields her off. Hilbert will fire a 3. No good, left it short. Offensive rebound is taken away, though, by Webster City. 2:47 left to go. Can Webster City make it a 2-possession game on this one? Stokes towards the near side, Miller. And Miller traveled on the play. A big turnover to give the ball back to Algona with 2:39 to go. Solbach will take the basketball from Perry. She'll jog it across half court and hand it off to Etherington. Algona still hasn't solved the mystery of the Lynx defense here tonight. Now to Perry at the foul line. Kicks it out to Hilbert. Almost threw it over her head, but she leaps up to grab it. 2:23 to go. To the elbow to Chase. Now to the wing to Hilbert. Passed up a look for 3. Now to Solbach down on the baseline. Back out to Hilbert. 2:16 to go. Algona looking to find some open space in that zone. Etherington drives, and she gets bumped. They will get Allie Odland on that foul.
Her second.
And Algona will inbound from the baseline. Can they find Perry another low post opportunity somewhere in this possession? They get it into Hilbert, and she'll hold the basketball for a moment before the offense gets set. Now Etherington, dribbling on the left wing, far side to Hilbert, back to Etherington. Foul line to Chase. The defense is fronting and backing Hilbert as the free ball's on the way, and it's good! Algona takes the lead as Etherington fires on a 3-pointer, and it's 33-32 with 1:45 to go. Boy, did Algona really need their second 3-pointer of the game, and they got it from Etherington. Now Webster City, can they respond? Odland backs up, staring down Perry, picks up her dribble. Perry comes up to guard her, gives the basketball up to the left wing Miller. Miller bounces it to the near corner. Heading in is Kosh. Kosh bounces it. It rolls with a foot in the lane, but Webster City keeps it. Mid-range jumper on the way. Back iron, no good. Rebound Algona, 1:19 to go. Now what happens on this possession? How much time can Algona burn? Can they get a good look? Effrington has it almost stolen away, diving on top of it and forcing a jump ball. That time is Stokes, and the possession arrow is in favor of Webster City. What another tremendous play by Kelly Stokes. She just has a keen sense of the ball on defense, as she always seems to be around the play. And that time was able to knock it away, almost dove on top of it, but was able to force the jump ball. So a 30-second timeout will be called by Webster City as they'll try to drop a great play here to try to take the lead. But Stokes, I'll tell you what, whenever one of the Algona players lets their guard up for even a second, she is in there to knock the ball away or steal it or really make a huge impact on the defensive end. Going into the game, I touted her scoring at being over 8 points per game, one of the scoring leaders on this Webster City team. But even though she does have 6 points tonight, it has really been the defense where she has made a huge impact in this one. So she was able to steal a possession for Webster City. They come out of the timeout. Stokes to trigger. Stokes looking and gets it into Miller. Hands it off to Stokes in the backcourt, and we're rolling. 1:04 on the clock. Algona leads Webster City by 1. Webster City basketball, it's Odland on the right wing. Gives it up to Miller. Miller starts right out of the lane, almost had her pocket picked, looking around, and Hilbert gets her ball, hands in there on the ball, and a jump ball is forced. Maddie Hilbert got in there as Miller was wildly looking around for someone to pass it to, couldn't find anyone, and Hilbert with the alert play to get her hands on the ball. 52 seconds, some full court pressure. Effrington, near side Solbach, gets across the timeline. Solbach will let the offense catch up. How much time can she run on this possession if Algona up by 1? To Hilbert on the far side of the court, back to Solbach. The defense comes up and pressures Solbach near half court. Now to Hilbert on the far side. They're trying to deny the ball away from Solbach, and Coach McLaughlin will take a 30-second timeout. Effrington, check that, Hilbert and Solbach were right by half court, kind of going back and forth. And the defense was slowly pushing them towards midcourt, trying to force a backcourt violation or get to the point where they could get into the passing lane and get a steal. And Coach McLaughlin will drop away here to try to not only get a good shot, but also maybe run a little clock while they do it. What an interesting game this has been. Certainly hasn't been the prettiest game for either side, but in the end, they are both in a position that they'd want to be in the fourth quarter. 1 point game, 31 seconds left. And a chance for either of these sides to have a very positive momentum-building win that can springboard them forward into the rest of the season. Algona will inbounds from the far side of the court. Hilbert will be the one to trigger it, just shy of the half-court line. Hilbert looking. Hilbert having trouble finding someone, and Coach McLaughlin will take another timeout. He wanted to avoid the 5-second violation. It'll be a full timeout. So we will take one as well. Algona 33, Webster City 32, right here on Hometown Radio. It's a 1 point ball game with 31 seconds left to go. Algona has an inbounds play from the far side of the court. They get it into Effrington, and the clock is rolling. Effrington starts towards the basket, now backs up, and they trap her in the corner. She throws it over the head of Solbach into the backcourt. Racing is Perry to collect it, and that's an over and back violation. Algona at least prevented the easy bucket there by racing to track it down and forcing an inbounds play from the Lynx, but a disastrous turnover from the Bulldogs. And now Webster City will take a timeout. It'll be a full timeout as well. So we'll take one final timeout with 23 seconds left to go in the game and get you to finish coming up next. .15 seconds to go in the ball game. Webster City gets it inbounds. Down to 12 seconds. The dump off. Down onto the block. The shot is put up. It's good with 7 seconds to go. Webster City got it. That's Jenna Miller putting it in. And Webster City has a 1-point lead with 6 seconds left to go in the ball game. What a devastating shot that time for Algona, as Miller was just outside of the paint and two defenders came to her trying to force the ball out of her hands. She tried to put up a shot anyways and just kind of pushed it right into the basket and scored it. That was, again, pretty well defended by Algona, just besides the fact that they let her get that close to the rim. But once they got there, the help defense was there. She scored it anyways, and now Algona has a problem. Down by 1 with less than 10 seconds to go in the game, as Coach McLaughlin in the timeout right now. And the fans here hoping that he has a really good play that he can design. And again, 1-point game, so anything is on the table right now. What's worked really well for Algona tonight is pretty much anything involving Alayla Perry. She has 19 points and has scored a ton of them down in the paint here tonight. 34-33 Webster City. They have come back from what was a early deficit. Algona took the 14-7 lead at the end of the first quarter and continued to extend that lead early in the second quarter, but pretty much from the midpoint of the second quarter on, Webster City has been having the edge in this game, continuously cutting into the Algona lead. And Perry will inbound from the baseline. Algona has to go to the length of the court of 6 seconds. Coming up the court, Etherington to Solbach, 2 seconds. Solbach looking. Solbach tries to fight it up, and she traveled with 0.2 seconds to go. She got in between two defenders, and that will be a problem for Algona. And a timeout will be called by Webster City. It'll be a full timeout, but we'll keep it right here. Algona tried to pretty much just get a full head of steam and attack the basket. Perry inbounded it to Etherington, who came up the near side of the court. She passed it across to Solbach on the far side. She made a beeline towards the basket. Two defenders came in to try to stop her. And as she weaved in between the two, she couldn't dribble. She couldn't put the shot up either. She tried to pretty much force it through them. And a travel ended up being called. And Algona is 0.2 seconds away from heading to their 14th loss of the season. And 0.2 seconds is not enough time to catch the ball, collect it, and shoot. So at this point, Webster City is inbounding. Algona will not only need to steal the ball, but they will need to tip the inbounds pass and tip it into the basket. I would imagine Webster City might try to lob this one the length of the court here, or very, very far away from the Algona basket, which they're inbounding underneath of right now. Stokes to trigger. Stokes lobs one towards half court. It bounces, and that's it. Webster City has stolen one on the road, giving Algona a heartbreaking finish on a shot with 6 seconds left to go from Jenna Miller. 34-33 the final score. And right when you thought Algona had the game won, Webster City came in and they stole it away for win number 2 of the season. What a heartbreaking finish for an Algona team that dominated last night's game. Early on, it looked like they might dominate tonight's game too, but they found a lot of offensive struggles here tonight. The three-pointer, which served them so well in last night's game, simply was ineffective tonight. Algona made only 2 3-pointers in this game. They were 1 of 6 in the first half on threes, and they were 1 of 5 in the second half, bringing their total to 2 of 11 on the night. And Webster City really didn't have a lot of good three-point looks either, as they went 1 for 9, but in the end, they had just 1 more point in reserve than Algona did, and they end up stealing this one away from the Bulldogs. Alayla Perry, in her return for Algona, ended up scoring 19 points tonight. Lillian Etherington, the second leading scorer, with 9, and no one else had more than 3 on Algona, as tonight was not a good offensive night with only 33 points, and with one player having more than half the points. The scoring not very well balanced across the lineup. And again, Algona is not a team that has a ton of depth, but besides Perry and Etherington, really just could not get much going in the scoring category tonight. And on the Webster City side, Jenna Miller had 7 points, but the last 2 were the most important. With 6 seconds to go against 2 defenders just from outside of the lane, she was able to put a shot in and send Algona to a 3-14 record overall. Webster City improves to 2-11 and also picks up their first conference win of the season. Up next, Algona will hit the road. That'll be on February 2nd, as their next conference game is a trip to Clarion Goldfield Dows, who is 11-3 overall and 6-2 in the conference. That is a team Algona lost 44-27 to earlier in the season, so they're going to have their hands full in that game to try to bounce back from this loss. Meanwhile, for Webster City, their next game is on Monday, February 1st, as they travel to Humboldt, a very good Humboldt team who Algona was able to give all they could handle earlier this week, but that was another game where they ultimately came up short in a 1-point loss. And if anything, I think the recent stretch of games shows that although Algona is improving as a team, they are still really struggling to finish off close games, as 3 out of their last 4 games have been losses, and those 3 losses were by a combined 5 points. So Algona still certainly having some struggles finishing off the close ones at the end. And tonight, they could not finish this one off either and could not get the first winning streak of the season. But the players will try to keep their heads up, and they'll move forward to a competition against Clarion Goldfield Downs, like we mentioned, that one on Tuesday, and we will have that right here on Hometown Radio. But that'll pretty much wrap it up for us here tonight. Once again, final score, Webster City 34, Algona 33. We'll send it back down to a commercial break and then get you back to some more music right here on Hometown Radio.